Hello and welcome back to the FreeMelon Society, my beautiful, lovely, and wonderful FreeMelon initiates. Even the ugly initiates are welcome too. What? That's just a joke. That is just a joke. My name is Eli Martyr, and today we are going to go way, way, way back in time, way back in history, and we're going to be discussing a very, very popular myth that has survived through the ages and continues to fascinate us today. We're going to be talking about the myth of Prometheus. Now, why are we going to be talking about the myth of Prometheus? Because I find it very fascinating how there is such a wealth of deep wisdom and knowledge locked away in allegorical form in many of the myths of old. So we're going to jump right into this. Who was Prometheus? Prometheus was a titan who defied the gods to bring fire to humanity. And this story is not just about a myth, but it's about an allegory for how human progress, and particularly the use of fire, has impacted our health and has, well, in fact, ruined our health. It's weakened the human constitution over the generations. And so I want to talk about it today. So Prometheus is said to be the creator of mankind. He makes human beings and fashions them and molds them from clay, and he gives them life and intelligence. It's this act of lofty design and craftsmanship and a hope for the prosperous future of this new creation that Prometheus has devised, the human race. Now, because Prometheus deeply loves his human children, he wants to ensure their prosperity. So what does he do? He secretly steals fire from the gods, and he makes a gift of that fire to humans. Fire classically symbolizes a number of things: knowledge, technology, progress. Okay, and so it's this tool that from that time forever changes the fate of human life. While this fire brings warmth, comfort, light, and the ability to cook food, it also introduces a whole new slew of dangers. Fire burns, it injures. If it's uncontrolled or irresponsibly used, then it can cause catastrophe, conflagration. And probably the more important thing that I'm going to be focusing on for this lecture, it creates the adulteration of food, leading to disease and infirmity of all colors and all types. Now, before Prometheus gifted fire to human beings, humans would have had to live in harmony with natural law. They would have had to live in harmony with God's law. And so they were obedient because they didn't really have a choice. They didn't have this technological tool that allowed them to work with their ingenuity and defy themselves. So they didn't have that tool. Prometheus hadn't been kind enough quite yet. So we were forced to live in harmony with our own nature. Fire revolutionizes survival, but it also opens the door to a whole bunch of new hazards. So with the fire, we learn to cook, and it leads to food adulteration, and we learn to add harmful substances to our food, and over time, this compromises health and causes disease. Now, Zeus is watching this. At first, he's watching with just amusement to see, okay, what's going to come of this? But then when he sees the consequences of this decision by Prometheus to steal the fire, he decides to punish the benevolent Prometheus by chaining him to a mountain or a great rock of some sort and punishing him with eternal suffering. So what was the nature of Prometheus's suffering? Well, while he was chained up, an eagle would come and rip out and peck out his liver every single day. Now, the punishment was that Prometheus's liver would regenerate every single day. So he was not permitted to die. He was cursed with eternal life and eternal regeneration. But his liver was in agony, and he suffered every single day, his liver just getting torn up by this bloody eagle. Okay, so in brief, that's the story of Prometheus. Now, earlier I mentioned that there's a lot of wisdom and knowledge locked away in ancient myths. So what truth is this myth trying to communicate? Because all the most successful stories and fables and myths, the reason they're successful and they captivate our consciousness is because unconsciously we recognize at some level that there is some deep-seated moral instruction, natural truth or principle that is being taught to us through the story. And by the way the characters or the symbols interact, we can consciously pick up on that, and it captivates our interest. And this is why these myths, right now I'm referring to Greek mythology, but myths from all over, this is why they have such enduring value, is because there's something to be extracted from them. In this case, Prometheus symbolizes the human race. The myth mirrors how mankind's health declined after the introduction and misuse of fire through adulterated foods, harmful additives, and unnatural processes, leading to disease and imbalance. Fire allowed us to widen the parameters of our dietary restrictions. Restrictions placed on us not in some arbitrary fashion, but restrictions placed by the intelligent creator himself, or itself, I should say. And as we know, the more we violate our inner nature, the more consequences we heap on top of our shoulders to bear. So why is it that this vulture is targeting only Prometheus's liver? Because it's symbolic. It's an allegory. Why the liver? It could have been his eyeballs, it could have been his pancreas, it could have been his perineum, it could have been whatever, it could have been his left testicle. No, they chose the liver. Why did they choose the liver? They chose the right organ. The liver is this powerhouse that cleanses the body. And so after the gift of fire had been delivered to mankind, the punishment is trouble to the liver, right? Because if your liver is destroyed, you cannot detoxify properly. And the poisons in your body will accumulate and cause disease and strife and discomfort and all the things that we don't want in life. The myth of Prometheus is trying to deliver to us a very strong admonition. It warns us that fire, as much as it can deliver all these gifts and comforts, it has to be very responsibly used. And if we use it to violate our own nature, there are consequences, not only for your liver, okay, but for all health in totality. Now, okay, I know what you're thinking, like, all right, well, we've lived for so many generations eating this so-called adulterated diet of cooked and processed and heat-treated foods. Okay, so how can we even go back? I mean, haven't we quote-unquote adapted to this new diet? Well, there is a little bit of truth to that. I would toss the word adapted away. What has happened is a weakening, a dulling, an erosion of our constitution. It hasn't been an adaptation. An alcoholic who drinks for years and years and years hasn't adapted to drinking alcohol. Their constitution is just so weak and dull and overcome with poison that they're not sensitive to alcohol anymore. So that's what the human constitution is like over these generations. So by cleaning up our diet and naturalizing our diet with raw living foods, okay, the fruits of the trees, the soft leafy greens, the nuts and seeds, we are not going to correct generational abuse. Okay, it's not going to happen. And I feel that we are always going to be wrestling against the damage that has been done to us over all this time. But what we can do, absolutely, is we can dramatically improve the quality of our lives, physical, mental, and emotional, by just trying to do what we can to live rightly under God. Okay? There may not be some sorcerer concocted thing that restores us to our original state. That might not happen, but at the very least, we can be mindful of the fact that we are doing something incorrect when we violate our own nature. And the last thing I'll say about this is perfection isn't necessary. Life happens, okay? The entire world has been constructed around lies about what humanity really is and what it represents. And I'm not necessarily saying you may never process food. That isn't exactly what I'm saying. But as I repeat many times in many of my lectures, what I am saying is that it's important that you understand the truth, that you understand what you're actually doing when we use our ingenuity to destroy our food and go outside of the limitations that were naturally imposed on us. Okay? When we do that, do it consciously, do it with awareness. Because if you have built the right foundation, the right conceptual foundations in your mind, then the body can recover from a little bit of a departure from its principles. It's what you do most of the time that really matters. So I don't want to sound overbearing, but I'm also obligated not to lie to you. Thank you for your attention today, my lovely FreeMelons. Go in peace and love, and I will talk to you next time. Okay, bye-bye.